My name is Noah. I'm with All American Toner Recovery. And I've been doing this for just under 5 years. So we're going to answer some questions you'll have. So I got into towing by accident. I was supposed to go try and be a mechanic at another shop, and they had tow trucks, and they were available. And tried it out. Started towing. Didn't really know much. Kind of just had to learn everything just by the job. Eventually, I went through a couple companies. Worked for another company for 3-something years. And then I ended up coming over here to All American Toner Recovery, mostly because it was in Justin, and I'm from Justin. So I've known roughly about what the company was and who they did, who they were. I came over here, loved it ever since. So as a new guy, when you have experience, it's kind of hard because you get put into that training position or into the new guy position, and you kind of have to show the ropes of what you know to prove that you can go basically on your own or solo. Luckily enough for me, I already had a couple years under my belt. So when I got here, I was thrown in the truck within the first day. Once I started going solo on my own and started, showing, taking pictures, videos, stuff like that of what I could do, or, recovery-wise, it made it easier to be dependent on yourself when you went out to a call, and being able to be trusted to go on that call and know that you're not going to damage anything and actually do the job correct. So I drive the 12K International. I believe it's a 25 International single cab. What makes it different is, say you have, a burn car, usually most places, a conventional or an autoloader can go out there and grab it, but the structure of the vehicle is not strong enough to be suited for the two dependent pieces on the truck. So a flatbed can go out there, pick it up, take the entire car, all the debris, strap it down, load it properly, and not worry about breaking the car, splitting it in half, damaging anything else really. And then, opposed to, like a larger autoloader or something like that, you have different sets of, your autoloaders, you have your T-bars, or you have a conventional where it's two pieces. Sometimes they can't get the tires, or the tires are blown off, or rims are melted, stuff like that. It just makes it easier because you can grab onto the car, drag it up the bed, and take off with it. So my truck specifically, where I say my truck, there's 3 trucks like mine. My truck can tow a single vehicle on the flatbed, otherwise known as a carrier. And then I have a underreach or wheel lift that can haul a secondary vehicle. And for my truck and the other 2 that are in our fleet, we have dollies on our trucks, or mounted on our trucks. And we can throw dollies underneath a set of car that has, all-wheel drive or the e-brake stuck on. We have no keys. Whatever situation may vary, it makes it easier for if you do go up to an accident scene and you're the only guy that can get to that accident scene. And there are 2 all-wheel drive Audis, or there are 2 pickups or something like that, or one has an axle ripped off underneath it. You can load the one with the axle ripped out from underneath it on the truck, and then you can load the other pickup truck with all of its tires still intact on your underreach and throw dollies on it and get the road cleared. Typical day usually can range to doing toolboxes, between a single 54-inch toolbox to 3 72-inch toolboxes, or it can be just regular tows. Right now it's kind of just middle to beginning of the summer, so it's mostly tows on cars breaking down, overheating, just regular mechanical issues. And then obviously nighttime comes around, it's more or less the accidents, the PD calls, stuff like that. But it stays pretty mellow and pretty consistent. It wasn't here, it was at another company, but it was a 3-car wreck that involved 2 cars were racing. One was a truck, one was another car, and there was another individual involved with it. We went out there about midnight, and crash investigators had to come out. When the crash investigators came out, that's when we got told to put on stand. We were on standby. I mean, our wrecker were on standby, and I was in a flatbed. He was in a conventional, and we were on standby for I think roughly 3 or 4 hours. And within the time frame, there were actually other vehicles that were being pulled over because they were going around the blockade, stuff like that. And we had to work around the fact that one of the vehicles, they didn't have insurance, or I think they didn't have a driver's license on it. So we had to actually grab that car while we were still on standby, take it to the yard, come back to the accident scene, and then load up the accident scene with a power pole struck and a gas line leak. So gas line leak had to be fixed, power pole had to be checked out, make sure it was good. Ended up loading the truck, I ended up loading the other vehicle that was involved, and then the secondary vehicle that was involved in the racing was loaded up by a conventional. And the motor was out of it, debris was all over the road, the front CV axles, everything was ripped out of it. We were loading this car full of all the pieces of the accident, of what we could, because we had very little room on our trucks to throw debris. But it ended up not being fatal, thankfully. But it was a pretty tough night, pretty long night. It was on a weekend, and it was brutal. Usual jobs that make me nervous, or I would say skeptical, are pretty much anything that's not a vehicle. Solely because if you have, like, say, toolboxes, and they don't have anywhere to really strap down to, they're top heavy, they're small, they're flimsy, you can break them easy. If you have a strap failure, you can lose a load. That's probably one of the ones that kind of makes a little bit nervous, but it's actually, unfortunately, oddly enough, the ones I enjoy, because it's so intriguing and so manipulative that you have to do certain stuff to load those toolboxes and get them on the truck and get them where they're going. Most of the time, the only time I ever get customers having rough days are if they get in an accident, they know that their vehicle's totaled, or if they're having other circumstances within their life or their personal issues, or they have a car in the shop or something like that, and they're trying to get it out, and shop's not releasing it, stuff like that. And they're just they're having a rough day. It's kind of I just use my personal skills, help them out, help them figure it out, help them figure out the situation. Of course, let them know that we're going to take care of the vehicle, and we're not going to obviously damage it. It's going to get to where it's going. And if we have to take them with us, we'll take them as passenger in the truck, so they don't have to worry about finding an Uber, spending more money on an Uber, spending more money on Lyft or something like that to get them to where they're actually going with the vehicle. So, of course, I'm on the hazmat team. When we get accident calls, and say I'm at home and a heavy comes out, I'm going from in my truck towing cars to now I have to go respond in our box truck, which is our hazmat truck. It's kind of it's the same fundamentals. When you show up, you know what's going on because it's a recovery. Once you get the recovery out of the way, there is the hazmat, where there is the spill, there's the cleanup, there's the remediation of getting the chemicals out of the roadway, out of the grass, or out of the the ditch or ravine, culvert, whatever you have. It's no different really, but it's kind of you have to switch them. You have to switch your brain to remember, okay, I have to do this. This isn't, this isn't towing. This isn't just throw a spill dry down and, say, hey, we're gonna let the cars kind of take it kind of thing. It's, you put the spill dry or the spill tackle down, you clean it up, you spray it, or you pull it out of the ditch, or you gotta dig for it, stuff like that. And it's more, environmental issues, environmental circumstances that are coming into play rather than just, it's just a car kind of thing. So before my first day, I wish I would have known the sacrifices you would make. I used to be, the fun kid that went on bonfires every weekend with my buddies and, went out to the, play with them at, go-kart arena or something like that every weekend, spend money and stuff like that. Now it's, you get a certain amount of days off in the month that are very limited. Of course, I'm on call 24/7, so it's, you lose a lot of time with your friends, you lose a lot of time with your, loved ones, or, animals, stuff like that. It's kind of tougher. And I wish I would have known that it was gonna be really tough doing stuff like that, solely because you lose your entertainment, basically. Aside from the entertainment on the job, you lose your entertainment in life. But it's a sacrifice that you make. You're going out, you're saving people stuck on the side of the road. You're clearing the roadway up so that way traffic doesn't, it alleviates eventually. Or, you get holidays, stuff like that, work holidays. You have to work around family time to get your job done and to do it right. So within the last year, probably without getting too personal, probably the hills that I've been up and down, all the problems that I've had to solve for the past year. Being humbled with all those problems, and finally getting a good job, coming to All-American and making good money, and actually being able to do what I feel is the duty of a record driver. Being here, it's humbling. It's kind of opens your eyes to realizing, okay, I'm at where I'm at. I'm doing pretty good. I'm not gonna stop here, and it's kind of where you say, okay, I got it, kind of thing. I'm steady where I'm at right now. A year from now, probably in a custom truck. That's really all I could say is skill-wise, a truck that you can plan out, stuff like that, or skill-wise, probably just knowledge-wise, knowing more. Of course, it's every day is different. There's no same days. There's nothing the same each day. Every day is different. Every call is different. But you learn the skill set, and you learn more and more and more by the day. Of course, still being 24, there's a lot that I gotta learn. So hopefully within the next year, I'd learn a lot more, and at least still have a truck that can do the job at the end of the day. So eventually, maybe later on, I don't know yet. That's still kind of in the back of my mind, getting a CDL, getting into a big truck. Rotator's kind of always been my thing. As a kid, I've always watched, all those shows with rotators. I've always, watched all the, comedy shows and stuff like that, or reality shows with, record drivers. And being in a rotator or being in a, for instance, a 50-ton, it's a lot more, it's a lot bigger, there's a lot more responsibility, you have a lot more weight. But being a rotator would probably be my end goal in life. Talk to some of the rotator guys here. And, you have your days, you have your bad days, you have your good days, you have your fun days. But you have the ability to almost do anything, really. And as I always say, you're always defying gravity. That's all it is. The weirdest thing I would say if I had to move or recover, oh, this one's a good one. We got a call, this is my old job. We got a call 1 o'clock, 12 o'clock at night for a local city pool. It was a disabled vet on a scooter at the local convenience store that he was getting a drink from. He had a coffee, and it just rained, and I guess his electronics shorted out. So his scooter, which is not as big as this table kind of thing, broke down. Well, he didn't live but I think it was a mile down the street, and I showed up, another driver showed up, and we were able to actually get it in neutral, and we were able to roll it up the bed, and we strapped it down like a vehicle, secured it to the ramp, and we took it to his house, dropped it off, and I actually ended up letting him have it free of charge, just because, it was still in the back of my mind, like, this is the weirdest thing I've ever recovered. But it was a disabled vet. He was in a tough time, and we were able to do our job and get the scooter to the home. And that was probably about the weirdest thing I've ever had to, I guess, recover or tow. So I have the nickname Hammer. In the record business, my nickname is Hammer. It didn't flow into this company, but I got it because on my second day as a wrecker operator, not a tow truck driver, as a wrecker operator, I was towing a vehicle for a police department, and the guy did not like that I was dragging the vehicle up in drive because I could not get it neutral. He didn't have keys. It was a car that shouldn't have been capable of riding on the road. And as I was loading it up, the gentleman came around with a hammer and tried beating me with the hammer. And after that, my call sign on the radio was Hammer. My nickname was Hammer. And it's kind of just been the running thing. Here, thankfully, I haven't had any nicknames come across, or I haven't had any running jokes come across. So besides, I guess, Lizard Man, but that's just because I have a bunch of reptiles at home, but that's really about it. So a couple of the questions that we're answering were regards of what the truck is actually about. We're going to kind of show you what the 12K series flatbed, aka my truck, is going to be about. It's truck 110. Like I said, it's I believe a 25 or a 26 International MV with a 12 series Century bed on it. And we're going to go through it real quick, just kind of show y'all what our trucks are loaded with. That allows us to do our job on a daily basis. We're kind of starting from the outside. Just normal package. This one's decked out with Whelen. It's got front lights, light bar on the top. It's got full scene lights on the back. On the sides, there's the dolly kits on the back. Each toolbox on each side is fully loaded. They do have racks on the top that are also full of tools. On the inside of our trucks, we actually have, for my truck, I have a flashlight, and don't mind kind of the dirt, it's just rained a little bit. A flashlight, gloves, just have to check our air pressure every day. A lot of us carry a bunch of electrical tape. We actually use electrical tape to tape up stuff or just anything that we need it for. On the inside, everybody's got chargers, stuff like that. The Whelen setup on the top, which is Whelen core. I carry a Guardian Angel for if I'm working on the highway. You can kind of be seen at night. Medical bags in the middle. Cooler. Almost every truck has a cooler, so we can carry waters on the hot summer days. The reflective jackets, just minimal stuff like that. Try to keep as much out of our cabs as possible. Onto the first box. On the inside of it, jumper cables on the left. My truck's decked out with a jump cable on the back, or jump spot on the front, the back. Milwaukee 1/2 inch impact, lug nut socket set. We have a detachable balls for trailers when we have to go haul trailers. WD-40, so that way we can, throw some on our straps when they get a little rusty or something like that. Tesla bridles. This is what I mean by when we tape stuff up, but this is a Tesla bridle, taped up, nice and neat, so you can grab onto it. You're not slinging it everywhere, grabbing stuff while you're walking to wherever you're going to. 75-inch synthetic rope, extended cable. If our winch can't reach a recovery, we can throw the cable on it, or the synthetic rope on it, to actually get to the recovery and reach it. Each truck has, or each flatbed I would say, has 2 endless loops and 2 rim slings. Everything again is nice and neat. My truck, as of right now, is the only one in the fleet that has a rear approach plate. You've seen it in a couple of videos. There's a Miller rear approach plate. Shout out to Chris at Edge Tech for that one. 2 snatch blocks, one with a chain on it, so that way we can throw it off of the bed if we have to double up. We also have, I think it is a 6-ton just regular snatch block. Fire extinguisher, of course. On the top of the box, on the back, is where my skates are at. You kind of can't see them. And then nothing in the middle. Some I call them fast response straps, or fast use straps. If I can't get to that side of the box and the bed is down and I have something on the truck, I have straps on both sides of the trucks that I can access. There's 3 1-inch straps for like motorcycles or just debris, and there's 2 2-inch straps for just any toolboxes or anything like cut cars or cars that I can't strap onto the actual axles with. I have straps in the back that I can let them down with. Onto the actual carrier itself. Again, it's a Century 12K or 12 series carrier. We have 2 6-foot chains in the back with mini J's on them, one on each side. I have my safety chains, a 12K Ramsey winch with airlock. I'll show y'all kind of in a second what the airlock is. Of course, wheel-in spotlights on the actual winch mount itself, wheel-in spotlights on the top of the rack. They make really good use for nighttime recoveries, or to a spot to where if you're angled properly, you can actually see the scene and not have to worry about pulling flashlights out or using spotlights off of patrol cars or something like that. Again, dollies. These are Collins dollies. They're not, I think they're high speeds, with a in the ditch bucket mount. I think they're called bucket mounts, that go into the actual carrier themselves. Within the back of the toolbox that's actually under the carrier is the crossbars. There's a single crossbar on this side, a single crossbar on the other side with the actual breakover bar mounted to the back of it. Of course, on the back, we have the full controls. My truck's not set up with anything else besides an underreach and a 12K series flatbed. This is the underreach. We have safety chains on each side of the underreach. My truck is designed with spoons, not L-arms. I prefer spoons. I love these things. They come in really good handy to actually get the vehicle into a comfortable position to where you can actually haul it. The wireless transmitter for our tail lights, which that was actually in the driver's side box. That one is a Tomate light bar, just a regular, handy dandy green little light bar. With these trucks, almost every truck is set up the same like this. We have a shovel and a broom that mounts underneath the frame. The only thing that I would say is a con to it is if you are up against a barrier, it's a little harder to get them out. Other than that, it makes it super easy to be able to store them away. and not have to worry about pulling them from your toolbox or underneath the bed or off the headache rack. And it looks a lot cleaner and a lot nicer just on a regular carrier itself. Going on to the deck again, there's 8-point straps. I can't remember the brand of these straps. Every carrier is set up like this, just so if we get a car that's in a rest or no insurance, something like that, you drive the car up, strap it down. Then you don't have to worry about messing with any of the chains or any other ratchets or stuff like that. Of course, you've seen it in the videos. You pop it over, throw it on there, and you're already out of the roadway within 5 minutes. There's the other set of dollies on the passenger side. Again, the crossbars and the breakover is behind this toolbox. This toolbox on the top has another set of skates on it. There's 4 skates total on this truck, and 2 ball joint skates, 2 ratchet binders, and 2 20-foot chains. This side of the toolbox actually has I have a jump box in this one. These are snow cleats. Use these during the snowstorm. My truck actually had chains on them, but these are snow cleats that we've taken off of a retired truck now, or out of service truck now, and put them in this truck. This one has a jack underneath it for tire changes, miscellaneous, if you have to pick it up because its tire's ripped off or something like that, you gotta put a ball joint skid underneath it, whatever you may do. And then on the top, just miscellaneous straps, mini J straps, all the extra ones, extra ratchets, stuff like that I keep up there. Rarely ever get into it just because everything's kind of already on the top, just ready to go. Makes it super simple, super easy. This one, we have 3 traffic cones. These are the rated traffic cones at I think they're 3-foot height. Instead of using the conventional, triangles, we can throw these out at 100 feet, 120 feet if we break down, or if we're on the side of the road and we want people to move over, we can throw this kind of somewhat into the lane and help traffic maneuver a little bit away from our carrier, so we're not getting hit, and it makes it a little bit easier and safer. Again, chain on this side, safety chain, and then we have in the ditch trash can. Otherwise, we use for oil absorb. Throw a set of oil absorb in it, and we can actually take the trash can out and carry it with us, so that we're not carrying a bag, or the bag is not in the toolboxes getting destroyed, making them dirty, stuff like that. It's all in one area, it's controlled, and it makes it super easy to actually transport on the carrier. So this truck is also designed with 2 tanks. There's one on the driver's side, one on the passenger side. So I can go to Arkansas on one trip and not have to worry about filling up. Super easy, super nice. I know some trucks, they don't have them, they're just regular steps. I've seen some that just have just a regular chrome step and that's it. On the passenger side, extra gloves, some tire shine for when it's not raining like it is today. Of course, the cooler. Everybody carries a cooler in their truck. If I have passengers, I can actually take the cooler and throw it in the basket and leave it in the basket and not have to worry about forcing them to find room to leave their legs and make it a little more comfortable for them to actually carry them with the truck. Underneath the seat, there's a storage compartment. It's got a leaf blower. We can use that to blow around oil absorb, help clean up debris, help clean up messes. I've used it a couple of times on some where the car hit some grass and threw all the dirt in somebody's driveway, and we just courteously, blew around the mud and the dirt back into the spots that it belongs into, rather than sitting there and labored sweeping away, basically. I also carry a bunch of cleaning stuff in it, so our trucks stay nice. Again, rain doesn't really help out when you're trying to make your truck look nice and neat. But yeah, we have that, and then behind the storage compartment, you can't really see it. There is a Slim Jim. I like to call them Slim Jims. It's a green lockout kit. Driver's side behind the seatbelt is my wedge and my airbag. That's all you need for a lockout. Not really anything else on the truck that's crazy. But of course, this truck has done so much for me. Keep your truck clean, drive it right, and it'll treat you right. Goes home with me every day, so it gets cleaned consistently. And again, being on call 24/7, it makes it easier to, if I have to go on a hazmat, I can take the truck to wherever it's going, meet them, what have you. And it's super clean. Anything else that ever gets added on to it, you'll probably see in later videos. Again, everything that's on this truck right now, though, is what a normal 12K series driver or record operator needs for their truck to do their job, to do a recovery, or to even do just miscellaneous, like toolboxes, just do miscellaneous stuff. So, but again, you know, thanks for watching. Like the video, subscribe on it. Y'all see more, and thanks.